This time, we're gonna head 'em off at the pass, partner. Hey, friends, Barky Dog here. It occurs to me that a lot of people on YouTube and the internet in general skew younger. And some of my younger viewers, if I have any, have probably not seen many classic westerns. Or maybe any westerns. Maybe you don't know where to start, or if you should even bother. Well, your old pal Barkey is here to help you out. I thought I'd share a good old-fashioned western with you, so you can see what they're all about. In classic westerns, there are generally three names that stand above all else. There's Randolph Scott, Gary Cooper, and John Wayne. There are a lot of other stars who made westerns. Joel McCrea, Audie Murphy, Roy Rogers and Gene Autry, John Ritter's dad, Tex Ritter, Harry Carey, Jimmy Stewart did a bunch, and so on. Clint Eastwood came later. But Scott, Cooper, and Wayne seem to be the mainstays, and they made a lot of movies we still think of as good classic westerns. We're going to take a look at one that's kind of interesting. Some westerns were definitely made for kids. Some were more for general audiences, and some were definitely made more for the grown-ups. This one seems to bridge both the sort of kids-type western and the more serious grown-up western. We're talking about Tall in the Saddle from 1944, starring John Wayne. With John Wayne, we have an embarrassment of riches. He made so many movies and so many good ones, some still seem to fall through the cracks. And I feel that's maybe the case with this one. It's really good, but it's not the first picture you think of when it comes to John Wayne. It's not even the 5th or 6th or 10th. Well, let's get into it. The story goes like this. Our hero Rocklin books a ride on the stage. He's going to town to take a job as foreman on Red Cardell's ranch. He meets a cantankerous old stagecoach driver, and they become fast friends. The passengers on the stage include a young hottie and her aunt, a snooty old biddy. Along the way, he learns that Cardell is dead, shot in the back, dry gulched. So he sets out to uncover the back-shooting sidewinder who did it. Turns out the young hottie is related to Red Cardell, and instead of just visiting, she's now in line to inherit his ranch. When he gets to town, Rocklin sits in on a friendly card game, but this young hothead won't play by the rules, and he draws a gun. Rocklin puts the kid in his place, but it turns out the kid's sister is a first-class spitfire with a red-hot temper. She confronts Rocklin the next day for shaming the kid, who lied to her about what happened. Now, Rocklin doesn't much care for women. He appears to have been burned by a bad relationship, but it's never made clear why he doesn't like them. Now he finds himself having to make a choice between which cute chick is gonna hogtie and brand him. Rocklin stays on the case, and along the way, he encounters a range of suspects. Who did the killing and why? Was it Judge Garvey? Talo, the Spitfire's major domo and protector? Or the no-good Bob Clues, the young hothead? Harold Day, who acts as ward for the Spitfire's ranch? The crooked Sheriff Jackson? Rocklin has to figure it out and save the day. And he also has to decide which young filly to put in his stable. The young hottie or the Spitfire? Or Dave? Tall in the Saddle, in some ways, feels like a throwback. See, in the 30s, Wayne made a whole bunch of nondescript westerns, and many of them were cranked-out matinee fare for kids, made on the cheap by small studios. It wasn't until Stagecoach in 1939 that John Wayne really arrived. That was the movie which made him a star, and he never looked back. Tall in the Saddle has some of the simplicity of the kids' matinee pictures, but on a bigger budget. In those movies, you usually had a banker or other figure trying to swindle people out of their land, or a gold mine, a ranch, or water rights, and they used a gang of bad guys to do the dirty work, while they themselves remained hidden behind the scenes. The hero is accused of a crime we know he didn't commit, and the hero oftentimes turns out to be an undercover agent of the law, or a relative of the murder victim, or whatever. You see a bunch of that stuff here. Tall in the Saddle has a great little cast, each player doing their best to elevate the material they're given to work with. Ella Raines plays the ill-tempered Spitfire. You want a strong female character, Twitter? Well, here you go. She can ride and shoot and ranch just as well as Rocklin. Raines is unforgettable playing this hard-charging ranch woman. She didn't do too many westerns in her career, though, opting mostly for film noir pictures. Lord Bond is here. He worked with John Wayne in a lot of movies. Judge Garvey is a different role for him. Usually he was a rancher or town marshal or wagon master. He played the wagon master on Wagon Train for years, or whatever. But here he plays a cultured gentleman, an educated lawyer type, so very different for him. Audrey Long is the young hottie. She had a relatively short career, giving up movies in the 1950s. It's a shame her star didn't shine a little brighter. You can see here, if she only had gotten the right directors, the right parts, she could have gone on to bigger fame. The legendary Paul Fix is also here as one of the no-good Clues brothers. Fix, famous, of course, for playing Micah Torrance on The Rifleman, and he was Dr. Boyce on Star Trek. He's also in Night of the Lepus, but the less said about that, the better. Elizabeth Risden is the snooty old biddy with a terminal case of the how dare yous. Her career dated back to the silent era. Here she's a stuffed shirt that makes for great comic moments, but she also shows a dark, sinister side that's very interesting. But aside from all of them, hands down, the one who steals the whole show from everyone is none other than George Gabby Hayes as Dave, the cantankerous soul stagecoach driver. He's brilliant here. He's hilarious. Hayes was so good at playing this character, or variations of this character, he made a whole career out of it. And in Tall in the Saddle, we see him at the height of his powers. He has the best lines and his best scenes right here in this picture. If you've never seen Gabby Hayes in action, this is the movie to watch. I'm giving this one 3 paws up. Tall in the Saddle clocks in at a brisk 90 minutes, and it delivers a lot of the themes and tropes of the classic Western. There aren't any weak performances. All of the characters are interesting. The movie was a success, earning a good box office return, and Wayne went on to appear in even more and better classic Westerns. So many, in fact, that this one kind of gets lost in the shuffle. Tall in the Saddle is available on VHS, DVD, and digitally on Amazon Prime. You can see my review of another John Wayne Western here. And down here, you can see some other movie reviews I've done. You take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one.